Hey friends, today I'm going to show you how to make a great gift for friends and family who love to read. It's a book page holder. This is a simple and inexpensive gift to make, and because it's small, you can probably make it out of scrap wood you've got laying around. Let me demonstrate how it works. By using this book page holder, it makes it easy to hold your book open with one hand. Okay, caveat. I'm going to show you how to build this the way I figured it out and using my tools. If after watching this, you come up with a different way because you got different tools, different process, different skill set, hey, that is totally fine. But what I'm hoping is that by watching this and watching how I do it, you come up with some ideas for yourself. It's all good. All right, let's do this. My name is James, and this is Homestyle Woodcrafts. Step number one is select your wood. I found me a piece of scrap. It is 3/4 inch pine. I like that it's 3/4 inch because there'll be a lot of page holding power in the book holder. And also there's some interesting stuff going on in the grain there. So pick what you have on hand or go find another species that you would think will look good. Step two, prepare your wood, which in this case, in almost every case, at least for me, means sanding the wood. I'm going to be using my random orbital sander, and I will be using, I always go through 3 grits of sandpaper. I either start with either 80 or 100. Today I'm going to be using 100, then 120, then 220, and it will result in a really nice smooth finish. The way that I will do my sanding is I will draw some lines with the pencil, and I'll do that on both sides. And then I'll take the 100 grit and sand that off. Then I'll wipe the dust off, and then I'll draw them again and do the 120. I will wipe the sand or the sawdust off of that, and then I'll do the 220 and then wipe that sawdust off good. Now that we've done the sanding and this wood is all smooth, oh, so smooth, it's ready to draw or trace the pattern on the piece of wood. Now, if you're just doing one, you may not want to take the time to make a pattern, but if you're going to do more than that, make a pattern. I do use a pattern, and I just use a little piece of cardboard. Let me show you. So this is my pattern, and I put a little center hole where the drill bit point will go, and I will trace this on the wood and then start cutting it out. I am interested in making this visually appealing when the final product. And so I'm going to place this so that I preserve some of this interesting grain figuring. And I'm going to do it so that it's diagonal on the piece, which I think will create some visual interest when it's all said and done. I'm just going to trace this here real quick. And don't worry about being 100% perfect. I'm going to mark my center hole, and it's all traced out. We are ready for step number 4. And step number 4 is drilling out this hole right here. And there are some choices to make. First of all, what tool to drill the hole out with. Now, I'm going to use my drill press right here, but you may not have a drill press. So another alternative would be, a hand drill. And this can work just fine. For me, I get better precision with the drill press. But if this is what you got, it will do great. The next decision to make is what kind of drill bit to use. So here's a couple of options. This style of bit is called a Forstner bit. This is what I'm going to use because it makes a really nice clean cut. This is called a spade bit. This can also make a good cut. But this is what I've got. I mean, I've got both, I guess. But I'm going to be using this one. If this is what you got, use it. Something to be mindful of as you're drilling, if you're not that familiar or experienced with drilling wood, is tear out. So tear out looks like this. Hope you can see that. It's got kind of a splintery edge to it. And that's where, as I pushed the drill through, it splintered wood out. And it doesn't look that great, but there are some things you can do about it. One thing you can do is press another board up against it so that if you have it under, where's a piece of wood? Okay, so let's say you've got this piece of wood under here and you're drilling through it and it's firmly against it, that can help prevent tear out. Another thing you can do is use some of that painter's tape and put it on that opposite side, so as you drill through it, it will help hold those wood fibers in place. I'm going to do something else that I think is even more effective than those other two. Let me show you. I'm using a finished book page holder to demonstrate. I'm going to drill most of the way, but not all of the way through. And then because these Forstner bits have this little point, I can drill through just to the point where that breaks through. And then I can flip it over and I'll see that tiny hole, and I can use that as a guide to also cut through this side. And by doing that, I'll have a very nice clean cut on both sides. To take the guesswork out of how far to bring the drill bit down, I have set the depth stop on my drill press so that it gives me a precise depth to bring the drill bit down so that that point just breaks through the opposite side. When I'm cutting and drilling, etc., I'm using my safety gear. I'm using something to protect my lungs, my hearing, and my eyes. And I encourage you to do the same in your woodworking, as well as using your tools safely and appropriately. All right, let's cut that thumb hole. Well, you know how nothing ever goes perfect when you're working on a project? This is one of those times. So I just drilled the hole in the book page holder, but I managed to not record it. And so what I'm going to do to make sure I demonstrate how I drill those holes is I'm going to drill it on a piece of scrap, and then we'll get back to the book page holder. Okay, so you can see right here where the tip of the Forstner bit broke through, and now I'm going to flip it over to this side and use that little hole as the guide to drill from this side. So what you can see is that there's no tear out on this side or this side because we actually drilled from both sides. So that worked out really nice. Now, if you do end up with some tear out, don't worry, the project's not ruined. You'll be amazed at how much you can kind of fix that with some sanding. And if it turns out that it's not exactly perfect, that's okay. It just adds to the uniqueness of the piece. So if you get tear out, don't worry about it. Now, when I've made these before, my typical process for this step would be to cut it out, to cut this shape out here. And then I round over the edges of that internal circle, which I found to be a little frightening, honestly, because it's such a small piece. So it occurred to me, I've got this big piece of scrap that I can do the round over step now with a larger piece, which gives me a safer way to grab onto the piece of wood while I'm doing the round over on the router table here. So I'm going to do the round over next. Oh, and just a quick tip. I had to change the router bit to do this because I had a different one on for a different project. And just a good idea to test it on a scrap to make sure you're getting the effect that you want. All right, let me show you how it turned out. And so for comparison, here's some of the practice holes I did. So you can see the edges are kind of sharp. Whereas in comparison, here's the hole where I did the round over. And you can kind of see that round over effect. And then, of course, I will be touching it up with some sanding later. On to cutting it out now. And by the way, if you don't have a router with a round over bit to do what I just did, an alternative could be you just sand that edge down. All right, it's time to cut this baby out. All right, get little guy, gotta move now for a second. Yeah, I'm just kidding about that. I'm gonna cut it out on my scroll saw. Some alternatives would be a band saw, maybe a jigsaw if you're better at it than I am, or a coping saw, and I'm no good at that. So scroll saw it is. Now that the book page holders cut out, I'm going to do some additional shaping on my sander here, because you can see here that, I messed up on the cutting a little bit, and that sander will take this stuff out. Okay, check this out. You can see here how that is all smooth now. This, I think that's about 80 grit sandpaper. I'm now going to remove that belt and replace it with a spindle sander, because this sander can do that. And I'm going to be sanding out that hole real quick. If you look close, you can see how rough it is in there. And that's what I want to sand out. That worked really well. It is probably about 80 grit sandpaper, so it could be smoothed out a little more. I'll probably do a little bit of touch up with some like 220, but I'm not going to worry about it too much because nobody's going to be looking in there. Now, if you don't have one of these awesome sanders, you could potentially glue some sandpaper around a dowel, or even just roll up some sandpaper and move it around in there. So the next step is I'm going to be taking my random orbital sander and smoothing out the surfaces again in case I got any nicks or scratches, etc., while I was working on the piece. And then I'm going to be smoothing out these edges too. I use this drawer liner here to protect my workpiece from the surface of the bench, because sometimes you can get scratches that way. So this is helpful to protect the piece, and it gives it a little bit of grippy power. Okay, next step. So I'm going to just take this 220 grit sandpaper and just smooth out what I just done. It's feeling really good, but I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit, kind of on the edges, just a little bit of touch up. I am going to roll this up now, get it in here for a little, smooth that out a little bit, and man, it feels great. At this stage of creation, you can do some customization of the piece and add decorative elements. For example, on the last set, most of them I left plain, but I did do some pattern on the wood with some wood burn paste. If you have a laser, you could laser etch it. You could paint it. There's a number of things you could do. I'm going to do a little bit of wood burning, and I'll show you when it's all done. All right, here we go. All right, I'm all done. The big reveal. Yeah, it's a little hard. Next step is give it a finish. I'm going to spray it with this spray shellac. I'm going to give it 2 coats, and then I'm going to buff it and polish it, and then it'll be done. Now that I've given it a couple of coats of shellac, it looks good, but it has a rough feel to it, which obviously you can't see. But to give it a nice smooth finish, I'm going to buff it with a piece of wadded up paper from a grocery sack, and then I'm going to give it a polish with this cotton rag, and that will give it a nice smooth to the touch finish. All right, I finished up with the paper, and I'm going to just polish it up a little bit. Honestly, do I know for sure this does much? No, I don't. But I do it, and I'm very happy with the results. So, and it doesn't take much work. Neither the paper nor this part take very long. It's all done. Check that out. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I've never done wood burning on mine before, so I like how that turned out. Also, do you remember this grain we preserved when we originally cut it out? That adds an interesting element as well. At the beginning, I said that this could make a great gift. People love handcrafted gifts. And I would say especially your friends and family who will love that you personally made it for them. I've sold a few of these, so if you like to do that, give that a try. Inevitably, people will look at it and go, what is that? What does it do? And then you'll have kind of a fun conversation with them. So have a good time with it. I hope you give this project a try out. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you next time.